Hello and welcome to Season 2, Race 2 of my excuse me, of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode with Acura Team Penske. Um, you're at Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix, and we've qualified pretty well. P4, looks like just barely P4. Um, and the front row has the Mercedes, while I am sandwiching or being sandwiched by the Red Bulls, and then you have the McLaren, Ferrari, and everybody else. So, uh, yeah, I just think I was just to say I thought it was interesting how you basically have the four A teams are all well, actually I guess the five A teams, the five A's, 10th through 18th is all teams starting with the letter A: AlphaTauri, Alpine, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, and then Antonio Giovinazzi in the Acura Team Penske car. Um, yeah, no real reason to look at the standings as of yet, as we've only done one race. Of course, we did come out on top in Bahrain, so we currently lead the championship standings. Um, Aston Martin did a great strategy play to get both their cars in the points. Um, Lewis Hamilton dropped out of the race for the second year in a row with troubles, engine failure in this case. Um, yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if Hamilton can fight back, and curious to see how Sebastian Vettel will perform now that he's back in the Red Bull and in a title contending car. And yeah, should be a fun race at the Chinese Grand Prix.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
All right. Weather a little cloudy towards the end, but should be a dry race from start to finish. R&D, so definitely going to get a chassis upgrade, despite the fact that the morale is low. Certainly fix that at some point. And then, I think I'm going to go with a engine upgrade. One of the cheaper ones here. Just to keep the upgrade progress going, just so that we have still some momentum in terms of upgrades coming on the car. So, Imola is on the 16th, Portimao is on the 30th. And right now, as it stands, if everything goes through, we're going to have 2 upgrades coming in for Imola and then a bunch coming in for Portimao. So, just keeping that train moving with the upgrades. And you see, just quick look at just to see who's where. You got Max Verstappen in second, Vettel in third, Perez in fourth, and Sainz in fifth. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, with that being said, let's go to the track for the Chinese Grand Prix.
The
Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once more, a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt we've got plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles an hour, with DRS assisting the cars down the back straight before they brake into the sharp hairpin at turn 14. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Can I get your take on Haas? We've had some changes to the regulations, of course, which mainly revolve around the chassis this year. And unfortunately, the early signs are that they've not adapted particularly well.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development.
They were at the bottom
Even if
anyway.
they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, the golden boy, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Norris, Leclerc, Gasly and Fernando Alonso, Russell, Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda and Stroll, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Christian Lundgaard and Mick Schumacher, Sainz, Tigtum, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
So we have our first instance of a grid penalty as Carlos Sainz will be starting towards the back of the field. Race director has everyone in the top 9 starting on softs aside from Carlos Sainz, who is on the softs. Of course, he qualified in the top 10, but dropped back to his penalty. And yeah, so should be noted that the soft tires wear very quickly here at Shanghai, but don't expect a two-stop from the AI. I think they're going to go right onto the hard tires. So I guess the interesting thing will be to see how, like, do they get caught up? Do, like, the guys in front of me, like the Mercedes and the Red Bull, do they get caught up at all, getting stuck behind some of that traffic that's started on the medium tires? I think that's going to be the big question in this race.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs. The drivers we're fighting here are Verstappen and Perez. Okay, our main competitors in this race are Verstappen and Perez. No rain expected, no rain expected for the time being. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So again, the big question I think in the early stint of this race is going to be, when do the soft tire runners in front of me hit? Presumably for hard tires. Of course, Verstappen, if things finish where they started, would take the championship lead. Of course, still very early in the season. Lewis Hamilton looking to just get on the board. Much like last season, comes into the second race in a bit of a hole he's trying to dig out of.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Alright, here we go. First time in this career mode that we've been to Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And we're underway. Oh, Sebastian Vettel, what a start. Perez is going to get by Hamilton. So we go really, really wide into the first corner. 3 wide a little bit with the McLarens. Pushing them wide. Gasly's going to get in there. The lead is still undecided, but Verstappen looks like he's going to hold on to the lead. It will be Verstappen ahead of Vettel, Perez, and Lewis Hamilton. Followed by myself, Ricciardo, Gasly, and Lando Norris. Ricciardo looking to make an overtake. Not going to get that time. There he comes again. Not going to get it. We stay in P5. Car really seems, at least with the practices, the cars felt very tight all weekend in certain corners. Particularly those first couple. Ricciardo looking to make a move. Not gonna get it this time. We're gonna just barely hold him off. Lewis Hamilton in 4th place has already pulled out a nearly 2.5 second gap to me. The window opens at lap 5. Again, that's the earliest they can come in.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Looks like Perez has fallen off of Sebastian Vettel a little bit. So you could see Hamilton make a move for third place. Ricardo still trying
to... The car in front is 3.5 seconds.
Ricardo's still trying to find a way around me.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Box, we're coming in this lap. You have P5, P5. Hamilton is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 3.5 seconds. They're on old softs. Ricardo is behind you. The gap is less than a second. They're on old softs. Okay, gap to leader, 7.0 seconds. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 24 laps to go.
So just to do a check here, the highest running medium tire runner is George Russell, who is in P10. So that's where things stand right there. Is Ricardo looks to make a move. We have the better drive off, and we're going to hold on to the position just barely.
They're in 17th. The gap is 8.7 seconds. The time last lap was a 1:38.3. Our gap to the car in front is 4.4 seconds.
Now it looks like Verstappen has stretched the gap to Vettel as Verstappen comes into the pits. We got our first pit stop of the race. And interestingly, Verstappen, as I believe I saw, decided to go for the medium tire. And as you can see, yep, there he goes, onto the mediums, so... Verstappen, interesting strategy, but that probably guarantees that he's probably going to do a two-stop, because I don't see how he can go to the end of the race on the current set of medium tires that he has on right now. So my guess is that... or my thought originally was that everyone who was starting, you know, on the softs would go straight onto
green flag.
hards.
Some information on Tsunoda. They're retiring from the race.
And we have our first retirement of the race. It's Yuki Tsunoda, who actually scored a fairly solid points finish in the season opener in Bahrain. Will be out of the race right here with an engine failure. So I guess I'll have to see this lap what move the guys in front of me make in terms of tires. The fact that Verstappen pitted would make you think that Hamilton must be coming in this lap, but you never know. Now that Ricciardo's by, we're going to be under a threat from Gasly, though we do have DRS. Gasly's still going to swing on by. We'll see if we can get back here at the hairpin. And we barely hold on. Gasly dives into the pits.
Gap to teammate behind is 7.5 seconds.
Both Red Bulls and Lewis Hamilton have stayed on track. Anyone else come in besides Norris? Actually, we have a couple, or not Norris, Gasly. We had a couple. Gasly was in, and I believe this is Carlos Sainz coming in the Ferrari. He is going for mediums, as is Carlos Sainz. I believe we can go back and see. No, Sainz going on the hards, and that one doesn't surprise me as much because Carlos Sainz was in the back. So this is probably a move to help him leapfrog, maybe Verstappen and Gasly, potentially. Still not sure what we're going to do. Our tire wear closing in on 60% on the left front. I think we'll probably end up doing the one step onto the hards. It's just a question of when are we going to do it. Have Perez and Hamilton both coming into the pit, so Vettel staying it a little while longer. Now I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to probably stay out just because I know that I'm going to get stuck in traffic if I pit. So I hope maybe that traffic will slow up some of these guys. They're pitting in front of me, and maybe I could potentially leapfrog them. Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Understood, stopping this lap. We don't currently have the data for that request. Copy that. Cards for next box.
So, in a moment here, when Vettel pits and Norris pits and I pit, George Russell will be your new leader of the Chinese Grand Prix. Of course, momentarily, he will still have to pit in the next few laps, but you can say that he has led a Grand Prix. Lando Norris looking for a move. We're going to fight back going into the hairpin here.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap. Copy that. Cards for next box.
And Norris is going to follow me right into the pits. As Vettel does pit for hard. So Vettel, Perez, and Hamilton all went for hards.
Complete. Go now. Look after these tires now. We want to finish the race on
Oh
this
God,
compound.
Ricciardo is in quite the jam in front of us. He's stuck behind, or it looks like he and Gasly, I should say, are trying to work their way through the Williams cars, and actually Gasly got the better of him, because Gasly was behind myself and Ricciardo, so that really worked out for Gasly. Though I guess Gasly, to be fair, he did pit onto the mediums, so he's probably going to have to stop again. So him getting ahead of Ricciardo was actually kind of crucial to his race strategy. Ooh, Leclerc made a little contact. So let's take a recap of the running order as it stands. So, current leader of the race is George Russell in the Aston Martin car. Alonso runs second. Bottas runs third. My teammate Giovinazzi runs fourth. And Esteban Ocon runs fifth. Then Max Verstappen, who will need a pit again. Then Lance Stroll. Then you have the guy who will become the effective race leader eventually, Sebastian Vettel, Sergio Perez, and then Lewis Hamilton is stuck behind our teammate, Christian Lundgaard. Or our former teammate, Christian Lundgaard. Come on, Leclerc, what are you doing? So at this point, it's basically just going to be me trying to keep up with Daniel Ricciardo. Ooh! I did not expect the braking to be that bad going into the corner. Or I guess I should have broken a little sooner.
Nice work. That brings you up a place.
At least we got by him. Dan ticked him. Takes us right to the back of Ricciardo. Ricciardo currently stuck behind the other Williams of Nicholas Latifi. DRS and Ricciardo. slipstream from Latifi. Ooh, we're gonna split the difference. And we're gonna go a little wide. Ricardo's gonna go alongside, passes back. A bold move that sort of worked, then didn't. Oh, I didn't even know we had DRS there. Catch back up to Ricardo. Into turn one. Squeeze him out and we got him. There you go. Or back into an effective P4 or 5, I guess, depending on where Verstappen comes out when he pits again. I guess we'll take an account of everything once we pit again, or once the medium tire runners pit. Team radio not responding.
14th position. You're in 14th position. Gasly ahead. The gap to the car ahead is 4.1 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Ricciardo behind. Less than a second separate you. They're on fresh hards. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. 18 laps to go. We're trailing our teammate by 15.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 5th. The time last lap was a 1 minute 39.0.
So, let's look at where everything's are. So again, Russell leads the race, but we've got going on here. We've got somebody holding up a big pack of cars, and it looks like it's Esteban Ocon. He's holding up Vettel and Perez and Hamilton. So you've got actually, and then you got Lance Stroll in there too. So Ocon and Stroll really holding guys up here. And I guess if you're Max Verstappen, that's sort of what you want to see, though he's not that far ahead of them, to be fair. Very curious to see how the running order ends up shaking out when everyone pits. Ricardo looking for... Oh! Ricardo pushed me off the track. My goodness. Just bang wheels. Collision with Ricardo. He's the one who made a collision with me. Took out the braking boards.
P15, Ricciardo ahead, they're on fresh hards. Leclerc behind, the gap behind us is 1.4 seconds. They're on fresh hards. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 17 laps to go.
Leader status.
There's static over the radio. Say again.
It's not an option, but I'll try it again. Leader status.
Say that again, we're having trouble receiving.
Teammate status.
Gap to teammate ahead is 15.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 5th. The time last lap was a 1:38.7.
Rival status.
They're in 8th. The difference is 13.0 seconds. The time last lap was a 1:39.3.
Leclerc going by. We're going to get the crossover if we didn't hit him while you were trying. There we go, that's much better. Battling with Leclerc. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of interested to see where George Russell comes out with all the clean air that he's been afforded by being the leader. And then, I guess, where Max Verstappen comes out, because we know, based on when he pitted and what tire he went on, that he's not going to the end of the race. He has to pit again. It's just a question of what tire he, decides to go for, I guess. I'm presuming he'll go for the mediums again. Just soft, medium. But again, I guess the question with Verstappen is, where does he come out on track? And actually, we got a bunch of people coming in front of us, including our teammate, Antonio Giovinazzi.
Antonio is coming in for his
all
stop.
These people will be going onto mediums. Or hards, I should say. Obviously hards. Actually, George Russell stayed out for another lap. And Ocon stayed out as well, but we do have Alonso coming in for hards, obviously. You can see the Aston Martin pit getting some hards ready. And Giovinazzi coming in. And you got Lance Stroll coming in as well, so... So, Russell, Ocon, and Bottas for sure have yet to stop, and obviously Verstappen has to stop again. Along with Carlos, Carlos Sainz, I remember Sainz pitted for hards, so he's good. Where's Gasly? Oh, don't want to restart the session, that'd be bad. Gasly is running in 7th, so we know Russell has to pit, Verstappen has to pit again, Ocon has to pit, Gasly has to pit again, Lundgaard, actually he is the one who hasn't pitted yet, Bottas pitted already, so in theory we should jump to 1, 2, 3, 4, we should jump up to P6, I want to say, so 5th or 6th, one of the two. So we'll see momentarily. I didn't even realize Lundgaard was still out until I checked. A little bit of swerve in there with Leclerc. We're going to maintain the spot. And you got Lugard in the pits. We've got Ocon, Russell still staying on track. But actually, he just pitted and he just came out right there. So there's George Russell in a great position. Once again, the Aston Martin strategist is Lando Norris. A little bit of contact, Norris slides off track. So that was a bit of a chain reaction. So, see George Russell coming out on the hard tire. Then we are going side by side with Leclerc. We go wide, and Leclerc going wide is going to lead to him turning in on Lando Norris. Get the camera right. Because Norris to go for a slide. Norris doing some lawn mowing work, some landscaping. Oh, here comes Leclerc again. Still side by side, but we just barely hold on to the spot. So Gasly and Verstappen still have to pit. And currently Verstappen has a huge lead over Vettel, who himself has a huge lead over Sergio Perez, but again, Verstappen has to pit.
You're sat in P8. Russell ahead. Gap to car in front is 3.5 seconds. They're on fresh hards. Leclerc is behind you. The gap is less than a second. They're on old hards. The distance to the leader is 26.3 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. 13 laps to go.
There's Verstappen. He just came out of the pits. He came in between Russell and Ricciardo. Ooh, I pushed Leclerc really wide in the Alpine. So I guess the question for Verstappen is going to be, can he catch Hamilton and Perez? As I think we just saw Pierre Gasly diving into the pits. There he is, making his stop.
Teammate by 6.8 seconds.
Leclerc trying again to make the pass. A little bit of contact. Nothing serious, as here comes Carlos Sainz. Here comes Leclerc again. Still side by side. Really fighting for P8 in this Chinese Grand Prix. I think I've done a better job defending there. Ooh, forcing Leclerc wide. Now we go wide a little bit. Leclerc's going to really park the bus. Let's see if we can get through that without running into the back of them, or Leclerc straight brake checking. Trying to figure out the best way to navigate that complex with Leclerc so close to me. We're just sticking up the inside like that.
Brilliant. Nice move.
Okay, so here's how things stand at the present time. The leader of the race is Sebastian Vettel in the 5. He is several seconds up the road from Sergio Perez, who's embroiled in a battle with Lewis Hamilton. So that's the podium as it stands. And meanwhile, Max Verstappen, he's several seconds behind those guys, but he has fresh medium tires, so I guess the thing will be to see whether Verstappen can catch and pass both of those guys and then get the leader. Then behind him you have Daniel Ricciardo in 5th, George Russell in 6th, Alonso 7th, I'm in 8th, Leclerc is 9th, Sainz is 10th, followed by Bottas, Norris, my teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Christian Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Dan Ticktum, and Nikita Mazepin. Only Yuki Tsunoda has dropped out of the race. Do our mid-session save. So now, it's just a straight run to the finish. So basically it's a 10-lap dash to the finish. And we are looking at some potential firsts for this race. I mean, Vettel's first win, Red Bull since 2013. If he can pull this off. And then you have McLaren and Alpine, who are currently looking to score their first points of the season after going pointless in Bahrain. So if they score points, that means the only two teams that would not have not scored in the first two races would be, of course, Williams and Haas. I think we're developing a bit of a DRS train here. Leclerc on the inside. Leclerc going to zoom by for the moment.
You can win that place back.
Crossover into the hairpin. Leclerc still on the outside. We're going to just squeeze him out and retake the spot. This Sainz looking to go head-to-head with his teammate now.
9 seconds.
Go super wide into the first couple corners. Tight racing here for
Okay, gap ahead is
the final
3.2
3 point
seconds.
paying positions in this race. I have to give credit to Valtteri Bottas because, you know, this is, he finished 10th in Bahrain, and this is the second race in a row where Bottas is on the verge of scoring points. So credit where credit is due to Valtteri. He's doing a great job in that Alfa Romeo. And I think Leclerc is going to start to come under some pressure here with the DRS. Sainz might pull up to him, maybe Valtteri. Oh, look at it. It's really popping off back there. Bottas, did I see that right? Did he get through to 9th? Okay, so let's go with Leclerc. Bottas is going to get alongside of Carlos Sainz, and then Leclerc is sitting duck, pulls to the inside, and they're going to be 3 wide going into the hairpin. I think Bottas is going to get the better of it when the Ferraris make some contact. So how about that? So for the moment, Valtteri Bottas is going to move into P9, into the points.
Okay, clear.
Uh-oh, somebody's got a problem behind us. Not sure who that was for or what happened. Oh, Gasly! Pierre Gasly went for a spin. Nearly, fortunately for him, he does not come back into traffic. It's that was quite the well, not a high-speed corner, but a high-speed spin. The driver who was right behind him was my teammate, Antonio Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi had his own mistake last time out in Bahrain, so he unfortunately gains a spot from that fiasco. Gasly really pushing on those medium tires, and it did not work out. Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And where is he as of now? How close is he to the guys in front of him? Still a little ways off, so I think at this stage, for Verstappen, he's just going to try to get on the podium. I don't think he's going to be able to get by both Perez and Hamilton and go on to catch Sebastian Vettel. I don't see that happening.
Our gap to the car in front is 3.8 seconds.
Looks like Leclerc tried to get by Bottas, but he couldn't do it. Not on that occasion, anyway. Might have something for him this time, though. Like Leclerc just is about barely going to edge out Bottas for P9. He does. So move the Ferrari up to P9. course, the Alfa Romeo is the slower car.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon. We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah. The top 4 are so far ahead of everyone else. I can't even see them on the mini-map here. Or at least the version I have. That's, you know, just zooms in on the section of the track that you're at. Yeah, I did just catch a glimpse, and it does look like Verstappen just caught Hamilton and Perez. The question is, can he get by both of them and potentially move into second? Leclerc looking for a spot. We're still side by side, very close, very tight. I'm gonna shove Leclerc out a little bit, and we're gonna rewind because we did not take that turn well at all. Leclerc looking to make a move again. Let's see if we can try that without contact. Oh, Leclerc, what are you doing? Very close with Leclerc. Shove him out again.
There's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are no plans for a safety car right now. The gap to the car ahead is...
Oh, really? Let's see, was there actually an incident on track? I don't see any. barely trying to hold on to P8 here.
We're leading our teammate by 4.3 seconds. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Ran wide again, Leclerc is there. Hold him off again. We're already on the penultimate lap of the race.
This is your final lap of the race.
Here comes Bottas. I made contact with Leclerc.
Gap to car in front is 8.9 seconds.
Let's see what happened there. I just sort of punted Leclerc. Well, not really punted, but he went for a real slide there, didn't he? Curiosity. So Verstappen is still behind Hamilton. Not sure if we'll get by him. If he does, he'll be right here on the last lap of the race. And Sebastian Vettel wins, and the contact with Leclerc sends him around. Contact with Leclerc. It's all popping off here on the final lap of the race. Leclerc goes around. He's gonna fall way back. Things could get dicey on the last lap behind me. maybe not. We're gonna come home to finish in P8.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So weird to see Sebastian Vettel back in a Red Bull uniform. Hey, give credit to him. He wins the Chinese Grand Prix.
Let's have a quick look at how the driver standings have changed. With that brilliant result, Sebastian Vettel secures top spot in the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Carlos Sainz certainly wasn't someone to scoff about. His ability to follow race strategies throughout with pinpoint precision has to be commended.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
All right. So there you go. That was the Chinese Grand Prix. I can see the effect of the constructor standings, or effect the race had on the constructor standings. A lot of teams shifting around. Alfa Romeo drops a little bit despite getting more points. That's because Alpine moved up. AlphaTauri drops. McLaren moves up. Ferrari drops. Aston Martin moves up. And Red Bull was the only one who stayed stationary because they were leading after Bahrain. Driver standings wise, it's pretty close at the top now. We got Sebastian Vettel leading ahead of Max Verstappen. Joseph Newgarden, third place. Sergio Perez in fourth. George Russell, amazingly, in fifth in the Aston Martin. Still ahead of Lewis Hamilton after 2 races, which is pretty wild to think about. Then Carlos Sainz standing, Fernando Alonso. Ricardo Alonso scoring their first points of the year, and then Yuki Tsunoda, no points today, but remains in 10th. I guess the big surprises so far, Lando Norris yet to score points, Pierre Gasly yet to score any points, Esteban Ocon yet to score any points, and my teammate Antonio Giovinazzi has yet to score any points in his first 2 races with the new team. So, that was the Chinese Grand Prix.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
Your teammates seem to struggle this weekend. Is there any cause for concern for the team?
Appreciate your time.
Leading the rivalry with Lance Stroll. Getting loads of money in, which is good. Currently have $6.62 million in the bank. So we did some investment in the personnel suite. Chassis morale's low, so we're gonna have to want to get their morale up. Though there's no option to do that this time, which is kind of annoying.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
Alright. I'll have to wait and see the chart, but it looks like we've jumped ahead of Alfa Romeo, which is good to see. And yeah, that's it for the Chinese Grand Prix. I'll see you next time when we go to Imola.